Welcome again to another off-season edition of USFL Today. I'm your host, Angelo. Make sure you follow me on the platform formerly known as Twitter at USFL Today and follow my Generals account at NJ_Generals. Got another great guest for you this week, another USFL player. It's Malcolm Howard, linebacker from the Pittsburgh Maulers. Malcolm, welcome. Good to see you again. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got around to doing this. I think we first talked around week 5 or 6, somewhere around there in Canton, right?
Yep, it was week 7, I think.
Was it 7?
Yeah, week 7 is when I got hurt. Yeah, that was it. Week 7.
Right, that's right. Because when you and I were finally speaking, you were already wearing the boot. And you were you had the wheels. You had your leg up in the wheels. You're getting around with a contraption.
I was rolling, man. I was getting around, man. It was a good way to get around.
You were rolling before the injury. I mean, on the field, you were having a pretty nice season through 6 weeks. You had, I think, 19 or 20 tackles to that point. At least half a sack, if not 1 sack, and you were a presence. And in a linebacker room dominated by Tizino and Foster, that's saying a lot, Malcolm.
Yeah, it's saying a lot, man. Both of them are really great players to play with. Man, it's an honor to play with both of them.
What was it like playing alongside and practicing alongside 2 guys like that bring such energy, and in the case like Foster, tons of NFL-like experience? Like, how much of that did he translate and transfer over to you guys?
Man, the energy that Foster brought, man, was it was a different type of energy. It was the energy that majority of the defense needed. Tez the same, man. Tez brought the extra energy too, and the leadership that we also needed to get to where we got to during that season. Yeah.
And for you, what was the one big takeaway, let's say, from playing alongside Reuben Foster? What did he bring to your game where you were like, wow, light bulb kind of moment?
Physicality.
Physicality. Example.
That's one
example.
Let's say, learning how to set an edge on my particular part. Instead of using, different other things to set an edge, it's no other way around physicality. So during practice, hitting, even if you don't have the ball, look, even when you don't have the ball, man, Reuben gonna knock you out.
Right.
Straight like that. So it's like, oh, Reuben, we in practice, but it really it's really showing the defense like, hey, whatever we do in practice, we do in the game. And he had that warrior battle mentality that we all should have at the same time. If all 11 have that same mentality, then we'll be on a different page. So we took that in and was really, really serious about physicality. So now I just start setting the edge more physical than before, so I brought that in-game energy to practice, and that's what Rue brought to the defense.
And so spending all that time in training camp, working at that kind of level you just described, Malcolm, it makes perfect sense the way you guys just launched yourselves in week 1 and made your announcement to the league that you were the defense to be reckoned with. And that carried out through 12 weeks.
Oh, we sure did. Yeah. The revenge tour. So we really sat down as a team, as a family, as a brotherhood, and marked out what we wanted to do this season, and we did it. So.
Most definitely. And, defensively, week in and week out, you guys were right there. There was only one game, maybe the Memphis game, where, they scored a couple of touchdowns on you and it sort of created a little distance on the scoreboard. But every other game, the defense kept the team in the striking distance of 1 score, and a couple of plays go either way, and your record goes from 4-6 to 6-4 very easily.
Yeah,
Malcolm.
Absolutely. See, our defense was, we in those period of times, like we bend, but we don't break. So we actually, whatever that needs to be fixed, we go back and fix it and get it right. So we usually, kick off and start fast as a defense, and whatever minor things that we need to fix and get out and do, we go back and we do it. And that what makes us a team. We don't argue about it. We don't fight about it. We just get together. Hey, I need you to do this. We need to do this better. And we just go out there and do it. That's why it makes us a team. And, we're more selfless. And once that happens, then, man, the sky's the limit.
And we saw that for you guys because the entire team hung in there, even though things weren't going your way in late game situations and things, close losses one week after another. That could tend to wear a team down, but you guys seem to stay energized by it. And then when the all-important last 2-3 weeks of the season rolled around, the Maulers were the team in the North that stepped it up, swept their 2 games, and then added that third win to the hat, another feather in your cap, all the way to the championship game.
Oh, absolutely. It took a lot of hard work, starting off as those losses. I mean, it was more of a building mode for us. So we had to clear out and flush out the last year Maulers and start thinking about the new Maulers.
Yeah.
See, we were a different Maulers from last year. So we had to continue. It is all a mental thing with us. We had to continue to just eat that in with the defense and know that we are a different type of defense. Like, we are the number 1 defense in this league. So whatever a man think, that's so is he. So we always had to put it in our mind mentally first before we execute. And it brought us to where exactly we needed to be.
And it gave the offense that time to get its legs under itself a little bit, so that by the time they finally started clicking a little bit, you guys were still playing at your high level, and a couple of games went your way instead of going against you as it was in the first half of the season. The Maulers were a completely different team from, let's say, week 5 or 6 all the way through week 12, especially in comparison to weeks 1 through 4 or 5, Malcolm. For sure.
Absolutely. And the offense, I can say for this, like, as a defense, we did our part, but we also needed our offense. So our offense is a big part of the Maulers too, and what we could do, and brings the energy to the defense too. We just needed to the offense actually work their butt off, man. They worked their butt off to get to the position that they were there at today. It just took a lot of practice, a lot of mental reps, a lot of physical reps, a lot of off-field things, a lot of film, a lot of talking to coaches and getting better. And they have progressed, and I'm really proud of the offense too as well.
Yeah, it was a nice, to me, it was one of the nicer stories of the second half of the year to see the offense actually grow, develop, and actually have a hand in the playoff win, scoring all those points without a contribution from the defense scoring a touchdown or the special team scoring a touchdown, like was the formula in the early going. So it's definitely something to carry over into next season. But before we get into next season, Malcolm, you did say it, you got hurt in week 7. Achilles injury, right? So how's rehab? How have you been feeling? I know you said you were getting better. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Oh man, rehab is one of the best right now. I actually go to All In Sports and Athletics. It's in Cypress in Houston. And I work with Dr. Lou. It's a guy that I've been working with before I got to USFL. Does an amazing, tremendous, great job. And my progress is it's getting patient, but it's progressing fast. So man, it's going good, man. I've done a lot of pull workouts, rehabbing ankle, legs, toes, all the way up, and it's been going great. Going great.
And what are they what's the outlook like prognosis wise as we turn around towards, let's say, the new year, right? Like, obviously you're not going to be running in October, November, but what's going to happen once January rolls around? Are they telling you when you start activities?
I feel like I will be probably running straightaways or jogging in probably that end of October, November range.
Yeah.
And I would say the full recovery and ready to go will probably be at the end of February. So it's a good progression right now.
So just in time for camp. Oh,
absolutely. And who knows, I know that the docs always explain that everybody's body's different. So who knows how fast this can come along.
Right.
Patiently, but we're gonna, it just depends on my body, eating right, vitamins, and those steps I'm taking in order to get back patiently but faster on the field.
So talk about now, as your focus is on rehabbing your injury, you still have those football things to also work on in addition, right? So how much does your workout now differ when you're doing things not related to your rehab compared to, what do you do to make up for not having the leg stuff?
Man, at this point in time, I could say today I actually was squatting. So I was
Nice.
squatting kettlebells for now, and just with the boot still on, of course. But I just sit down and work hand movements. Hand movements. Hands is a very big thing in my position off the edge. So I just been using my hands, just working hands and going to rehab. So that's just the main things I've been working on: hands and the mental part of the game, different formations and things like that. What would I do in this situation next time? What would I do this when this occurs? So I've been mentally training and physically training, just my hands physically though.
So the study part is the study part, right? Yeah, that you could do it at any time. What about any other? You doing upper body workouts and stuff too, or?
I did full body today, man. I did upper body. I did dumbbells, ab workouts, a lot of abs, and hips. Just so the hips won't be stiff about time I start running. So I do small things with the hips. I stay with the upper body, arms, absolutely, and abs.
Yeah, I would imagine that with all the inactivity, the hips can tighten up pretty quickly.
Oh man, hey, I was sitting down for 6 weeks, hips tight. I was ready to move, man. When they said don't move, I strictly obeyed the commands from the doctors. Are like, man, I'm not gonna move at all, man. I'm gonna stay here, let it heal. And but I'm getting a little kind of stiff. But I'm actually doing those workouts to, get my hips kind of loose right now. So it's been good.
That's cool, man. Are you doing anything like myofascial release or something like that to kind of loosen up the hips, like
hip
pressure?
bridges, hip bridges, doing my hips wasn't coming to find out, it felt tight, but when I actually doing the work, it wasn't that tight. So we did like hip bridges, knee hanging off the bench and pulling up, knee raises, hip raises, just things like that. Squatting, and I've been doing a little stretching back at home. So it's loosening up, man. It's getting ready, man. I might be ready in about 2 months.
Man, that would be the story of the year for me. Because the one thing I will say this, when we started chatting that first week, when I came across you the week you got hurt, and then we talked again during the playoffs and the championship week as well. And for a guy who got hurt late in the season and had to kind of, miss out on the action on the field, you had the best attitude. You had the best attitude that anyone could expect from someone that was in your predicament.
Hey, man, I can tell you this. I couldn't have done that alone, man. All glory to God, because that's the only one that kept my mind in a position where he wanted it to be. I wanted to be out there. I wanted that, but I guess how God's timing worked, it just wasn't for me during that point in time. But I was still there supporting and giving them, the team, defense, offense, coaches, presidents, everybody what they needed. I was just a voice, and that's mainly sometimes what you need, because like we talked about earlier, it starts from the mental part, and you have to hear it in order to touch the mental part. So I was being a big cheerleader for the whole organization.
I saw that.
So yeah, every game, every practice. So yeah.
What are you doing in your off season aside from the football stuff to A, stay busy, either work wise, if you are doing anything, or B, just for fun? What does Malcolm Howard do for fun?
Well, just the fun part. I'm just normally, it's nothing much really can do, especially the healing part. So you have to sit down, and so I mainly just, read. I read different types of books, spiritual books, financial books, just to gain my knowledge on a lot of those things. I also working on a little type of business I have. So it's just It's called Infinite Phase. It's just basic sports for kids in the educational system.
Cool.
So I have like different coaches, or I go myself and we'll train them whatever the school wants, either baseball, football, soccer, and we'll have those coaches give them basic training and actually compete in their own districts. So we'll have different schools go out, practice, and have a game day to compete. So that's what I've been working on for now, growing it, because a lot of the elementary schools don't have football. So mainly what I'm trying to do is implement flag football, because we all know how football brings discipline. It brings a lot. It teaches life. It's comparable. So that's what I've been doing on my spare time, just getting that together. School's about to start, and get ready to launch it off again. So I'm
That's
ready,
great.
man.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I bet these kids really look up to you and the coaches, because you guys are, active, and you've done it before, and you have all
Yeah.
kinds of experience and direct knowledge to pass on.
Oh yeah, they are, and they are very aware about the USFL. The kids love watching NFL. Oh, the USFL is all like golden to them. It's the same. It's like, man, professional football player. So
I
they get
love
very,
that. That's the shift we need, Malcolm, in the whole
yeah,
thinking about what spring football really is all
yeah,
about, right? And I think that
yeah,
as the older fans, and I'm kind of in that category a little bit, right? As the older fans age out of being the consumers of the game, and some of these
right,
younger kids you're talking about grow into being the people who start spending the money on the product, they'll be more
yeah,
familiar with it, and view it as something to consume as a football product just as much as the NFL. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. I turned on a TV last night. We chatted a little bit last night about the Hall of Fame game, right?
right.
I turn it on, and the first thing the guy says is, "Hey, get ready. There's football from now until February." And I said, "You mean from
Oh,
now until July, bro? What do you mean
exactly. Yeah.
February?"
See, you gotta change that thinking, man. They gotta change that thinking, because we are a professional league too, also. Because
Correct.
hey, when that season's over with, some of these guys are playing at the next level, right? And I'm just gonna say this: we are all professionals, right?
Absolutely.
If it goes back to the thinking, if you're a professional, if you think and you know that you're a professional, you're a professional. It's the change of thought. And hey, like you said, from now until July, that's when football season is at a break.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, you're right.
And for
You're right.
people that are fans of Canadian football, or even following
Yeah.
the European League, it's a really nonstop 12 months of
Oh
football
yeah, that too.
of every
Absolutely.
professional level. And I love it, because there's more jobs for you guys. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
like the most. Jobs for players. We got 2 spring leagues here in the US, both of comparable competitive
Mm-hmm.
levels. It's the same pool of guys. So there's
Right.
not one better than the other. It's just a different packaging of the same product, right?
You're right.
And,
You're right.
and I think that that's only going to help grow the game, because those kids you described are also watching XFL too.
Absolutely, they are.
Yeah.
They are. They're watching football everywhere. High school, middle school. They are starting to recognize everything. Yeah.
Hey, you said that you read. What are you reading right now?
Right now, I was reading a book that's called it's called What on Earth Am I Here For? So it's basically a book that explaining why God created you and what is your purpose on why you're here. So in your career, uh, you're there for a reason. You have a gift, and you have a talent, and it is all used for the glory of God. So that's what the book is basically about. And of course, I've been reading a little bit of the Bible, just strengthening my spiritual side. And of course, I've been reading this book right here. This is a great book too. Uh, I probably backwards, but it says It says Millionaire Habits in 21 Days.
That's a great book. That's written by the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy, I think, right?
It's written by Scott Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Scott Anderson. He's a really smart guy in this book. So just trying to get my money up too, man. I got Gotta get it right.
Hey, these are all important things for everybody, right? Spiritual strength, financial strength, physical strength. These are all aspects of our lives that we need to work on. And unfortunately, Malcolm, I think that we're not taught those things at young enough an age to make it integrated as a natural sort of progress. You know what I mean? A lot of us catch on to parts of this stuff later. How many people say, I wish I discovered working out before I turned 40, for example, right? And so many people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And other people say, I wish I knew about investing when I was in my early 20s, for example.
Man.
So
yeah.
These are all important lessons to learn. I hope people that are watching that, take a cue from you and say, hey, let me diversify my interests and knowledge and also strengthen myself along the way. It's a good example, man.
It brings the calm to the storm, man. Also, a guy that I listen to and read his books on is Tony Evans. Tony Evans is a real great speaker.
What is give me the gist of what his overall message is like. I'm not familiar with Tony Evans, so enlighten me.
From my end, what I get, he's a pastor. So from my end of what I get of what he teaches is bringing the kingdom of God to heaven. I mean, bringing the kingdom of God to earth, meaning so being a kingdom man, being the man you are called to be. Basically, that's what I'm on with him right now, and he's been spitting some stuff, man, that I never knew about, man. Like it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff, man. I'm still trying to dig and learn deeper into that.
Sounds like he provokes a lot of depth in thought, doesn't he?
Oh man, and he's so understandable to everybody. Yeah, he does. He brings the thought, and it comes to your eyes, man. A lot that I've read. It opens up a lot.
Hey, we're getting a little deeper than football, which is great. Actually, I love this stuff because it's the off season. There ain't no X's and O's. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that all of these teachings, these guys that you listen to, Tony Evans and some of the others, especially from the spiritual side, do you think all of their teachings derive from the simple just do unto others rule, and then it emanates from there?
Man, yeah. I also think that, the main part is just living for that purpose God wants you to live for. These guys actually, see, Tony Evans, he's actually a football guy too. So he throws a lot of football examples to us. And I know for the football world, that would be very understandable to a lot of guys.
Right on.
But mainly these things that they teach is just how to be a better man and follow God the way we're supposed to follow him. So that's it. That's about it from Tony Evans, man. He's just all about him.
That's a great note to close this conversation with too, Malcolm. You're an inspirational guy for a lot of reasons. One, because of your effort on the field, your ability to then pivot from being active on the field to spurring your teammates on from the sidelines, because that's how it all worked out for you. And now the attitude that you've taken into the offseason, I have absolutely no doubt, man, that you are going to be back stronger than you were this year and have a fantastic season next year.
Absolutely, man. Look, I take all this in now. Because when I'm on that field, I'm a different dude. I'm a different Malcolm, bro. Different Malcolm on that field.
I like this Malcolm, and I'm glad I don't have to face the other Malcolm. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I'm in battle mode out there. So
there he is, ladies and gentlemen, number 6 of the Pittsburgh Maulers, linebacker Malcolm Howard, who will be back next season. You can count on that. If the man says it, and it was his word, it's bond, baby. That's it for this week's edition of USFL Today. Again, make sure you follow me on Twitter or X or whatever it's called. I ain't never going to get used to that, Malcolm.
Yeah, X, I've seen it. All I say, everybody get your popcorn ready for next year, man.
There you go. Be ready. Malcolm and the boys are going to put on another show next season. For now, that's it for this week. We will see you next week or maybe the week after with another great USFL player. But that's it for now. I'm Angelo Fiores, and that's USFL Today. Thanks for watching, everybody.